NHADCH 17.1 School Fencing Match. Today is the day of the school fencing match. It also marks the end of Leon's role in school events. Yay! At last, all of the school events have been completed. I did well. Like a revolving lantern, all of my hardships flash through my mind one by one. After the plot's focus shifts back to the village, Leon's remaining events can be counted with one hand. After graduation, Alfred and Leon's daily encounters would decrease at a dramatic rate. Almost to the point of not seeing each other anymore. If we're going by the game's plot, they won't want to see each other to begin with, since they don't get along. For this reason, the few encounters between the two after graduation are mostly accidental. Also, the remaining events involving Leanne can't even be called events. At best, every time Leanne runs into the main character, he will spew out a few hateful words before turning on his heel. This is just my guess, but, after being knocked down by Alfred and losing miserably in front of everyone, Leon's pride becomes crushed. That Alfred, the one he always looked down, the guy he never considered as his match, could beat him causes Leanne great shock. From then on, he does all he can to avoid the main character. Of course, this is good news for me. I'll finally be able to move freely. I can concentrate on the village's defenses without having to worry about school or Alfred. That's why I'm loving today. An easy and carefree day. My stomach doesn't hurt from stress either. With that, I leave for the school with my favorite leather bag, humming a tune on the way. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. As expected, the whole school is noisy today. It's as if there is a festival going on. It can't be helped. After all, today is Friday. There is no school tomorrow. The school fencing match will last the whole day, so there are no classes today either. Therefore, I can somewhat understand why everyone is feeling both lively and restless. Inside and outside the school, I can see students with headbands tied around the forehead doing all sorts of things. The running around, practicing by exchanging blows with each other, doing push-ups, basically any type of pre-match exercises. There's also a student climbing a tree. Beside him is another guy trying to scale the school wall. If there's some meaning behind their actions, I can't see it. In the middle of the hallway are two guys practicing by swinging sticks. Not only are they blocking the way, they are also endangering other people. Go outside if you want to do that, brats. In the end, a teacher scolds them, and they are thrown out from the window. That's as expected, right? I mean, what they're doing is dangerous. The swordsmanship class is mandatory for boys, whereas the female students can choose it as an elective. Since only a few girls are enrolled in the swordsmanship class, most of the girls who came to school today are either cheering for their friends or watching the matches, chattering with each other excitedly. This somewhat feels like I've come to an event venue. The usual trio and our other classmates gather around my seat, shining with joy as they talked among themselves. I'm sure that Leanne Sama will win. Of course he will. There's no doubt of it. Right. There is no one in this school who can be a threat to Leanne Sama after all. Do your best, Leanne Sama. I'll support you. Me too. Yeah, me too. Thank you, everyone. I grace them with a smile. Everyone's cheeks redden. They return my smile. Today, I don't have on the conceited smile I practiced and used in the past. Instead, it's sincere. My heart's practically bursting from my chest in happiness, so much that I feel like greeting everyone Marie style. Cheeks flushed as I say with a grin something to the line of pleasant weather we're having right. Teehee. I can take it easy today. I just have to lose to Alfred. I'm sorry, everyone. I'll do my best to make sure I lose. I wonder how Alfred is doing. Is he pumped up, thinking something along the line of, I'll do my best to beat Leanne today? He should be. I've been brutally pointing out his mistakes in order to motivate him. He's still a kid after all. He may be an incredibly dry and lazy person, but I'm sure that he wants to beat me at least once. And his final chance is this last match. I sneak a peek at him sideways. Just like I thought, there's a crowd around him as well. He is situated in the middle of the waves of people. And his eyes are drooping. He leans against the backrest of his chair, yawning. He doesn't seem motivated. Why is this brat yawning? Could he not be getting enough sleep? Hey, liven up. You have to do your best today, idiot. You have to get into the finals. His blue eyes shift to my direction. I fill my glare with as much heat as possible. Why, you sure are calm, Alfred. You even made such a big yawn just now. I accidentally charged some magic stones until late at night yesterday. Wah. What were you doing? Are you stupid? I told you not to overdo it. It's just that once I started, I lost track of time. You. But I quickly stopped myself from saying more. Everyone around us is giving me strange looks. How dangerous. I almost reverted to my original personality because of this idiot. Hee. You sure are confident to work on your part-time job on the night before the match, Alfred. Do you think you can win by doing that? It doesn't really matter. If I lose, I can immediately go home. In fact, I'm thinking of losing as quick as possible so I can also go home earlier. I have another part-time job starting from evening until nightfall. Losing as early as possible. That's extremely troubling, especially for me. Damn it, I have to get him motivated somehow. Why don't you want to win against me even once? Are you fine with losing to me forever? In order to stir the other party, I try to say this as mockingly as I can. Alfred sullenly raises an eyebrow. Then, his eyes droop again. This brat. His motivation only lasted for a moment. If it isn't for our audience, I'd approach him and bash his blonde head. Yes, but even if I win against you, I won't really get anything. If you win, the knights from the royal capital may scout you, you know. I don't intend to become a knight though. You don't. Well, it's true that according to the game's plot, you won't be a royal capital knight in the future. Instead, you'll be a knight of the Fortuna Church dedicated to the goddess. But that currently doesn't matter. I have to somehow motivate him. Is that so? What can I do though? Would something like money work? A light bulb flashed on in my head. If you win against me, I will give you a reward. If I give him a gift or money on the condition that he wins, he should be more motivated, right? He wouldn't throw the match away. I mean, he's a practical guy. He won't want to do anything that can't earn him money or food. Reward. Great, he takes the bait. Just as I expected. A reward. If you win against me, I will give you one thing. It can be anything. Just tell me what you like. Anything I want. Well, technically not anything. My abilities are limited. Alfred slightly looks up, and starts to stroke his chin. Looks like he's considering it. He then shifts his gaze back to me with a smile on his face. Got it. Then if I win against you, I will get a reward. Anything. As long as I want it, I can ask for it. Sure. You're serious, right? You won't take back those words. No, I won't. Good. I understand. Alfred stands up from his seat. With one hand, he grabs the practice sword leaning on his desk. The teachers will hand us a real sword before the match after inspecting it. It's dangerous after all. Alfred. Where are you going? I'm going to accustom my body. There's still some time left before the match starts. Alfred twists his shoulders, flashing a sideways glance at me full of joy. Then he leaves the classroom. As I gaze at his departing figure, I feel cold sweat dripping down my forehead. I've successfully managed to motivate him. But, even if I have succeeded, I wonder what that guy's request will be. He looks very happy. It scares me. I mean, I will definitely lose later. His reward is predetermined. Without realizing it, I felt upset by his laziness and ended up saying a few things in hopes of mending the situation. Perhaps I should have thought over my words carefully before saying them. Ugh. My stomach's churning again. Gingerly, I rub it. NHADCH 17.2. The school fencing match is a tournament-style match using real swords and will be the basis for our graduation exam score. Victory and defeat are determined once someone either verbally concedes, goes beyond the circular boundary drawn on the ground, or any body part, aside from the feet of course, touches the ground. The rules are very straightforward and simple. Of course, if someone cheats or does something like deliberately injuring their opponent, they will be disqualified immediately. The teachers are scattered throughout the hall, watching the match from various angles. If they deem the situation to be getting dangerous, they can rush inside the fighting grounds and stop the match. And since the students can hurt or even kill someone with the swords, the school physicians and town doctors are gathered inside the simple treatment center built beside the venue. If someone gets injured, they can immediately be treated. They have thoroughly prepared for every situation. Among the prepared seats in the outfield, some lavish VIP seats are placed at the middle, complete with a covering on top of them. These seats have the best view of the match, and seated there are some people wearing blue stand-up collared uniforms similar to those of the military. They also had imposing and long blue cloaks and expensive-looking longswords covered with gold and silver ornaments beside them. They are knights from the Royal Knights Order, around 6 or 7 of them there. Sitting next to them are 3 or 4 important-looking old men wearing long coats and hats made out of expensive fabric. Seeing the embroideries of swords and shields on them, I realize that they must be the executives of the Royal Knights School. On their other side are the headmaster and the other teachers, talking to the knights and executives with smiling faces. And while waiting for the turn, some students are stiffly sitting on the benches placed right beside the battleground. The schoolyard has set up 4 fighting areas for this match. Even so, there are around 60 competitors, so it will still take some time to reach the finals. I tiredly heave a sigh. The match has started. I've been doing well and keeping my winning streak. It's actually going extremely well. Many students have never used a real sword before, so they're too scared. Oftentimes, they can't even fight properly. They get cold feet the moment the match starts. After a few clashing of swords, they would immediately yield, or even intentionally go out of bounds. Isn't it better for the school to stop using real swords? This doesn't feel like a match anymore. Is this really okay? It's like everyone quickly gave up the match. That's a given. There's no way that they can win against Lian Sama. Right. The winner has already been decided even before you fight. It's over for them the moment they enter the battleground. Are you all being a little too hasty? Suddenly, a shrill voice rang from beside me. I turned toward the source of that bustling sound. It turns out to be from Alfred's fight. His opponent is desperately running away before going out of bounds. Him too, huh? Looks like that guy is doing well too. Alfred and I are winning quicker than I predicted. The quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the third-place determining match will be held after the lunch break, along with the finals. And then, finally it comes. In front of me, a blonde head folds his arms, serenely smiling. Wait, how is he so calm? But he seems pretty motivated too. Where did his usual languid attitude go? I can feel cold sweat flowing inside my mind, so I try not to tremble and pretend to be calm as I also fold my arms. With my usual conceited smile, I tell him my pre-prepared words. Since you've managed to reach the finals, you must have good luck, Alfred. But, your luck is only until here. Not once have you won against me. And you still won't today. Alfred's eyebrow twitches. I won't know until I try, right? He replies. It's quite unusual. He typically just gives unenthusiastic responses like, or, I see, but now. When the sleepy swordsman teacher signals the start of the match, we greet each other and pull out our swords. Why? Alfred cleanly parries my blow. He usually fights using brute strength, but he is currently very calm. His movements are fluid and efficient, without any excess actions. And his sword handling and movements are similar to mine. Ah, I see. I've been teaching him, so it's only natural that his movements are similar to mine. So he actually remembers everything I tell him. As his teacher, I'm happy to see the results up close. Even so, isn't this too different from the usual? There's not even a single pause between his moves, as if he has already mastered it. Looking at this weird situation, I make a feint by circling around him to tempt him into attacking me again. As I calculate his next move, I try to break his flow, all while waiting for the perfect moment to counterattack. Above all, this is quite fun. After exchanging blows several times, instead of parrying my swing, he ducks and lunges at my chest, following my sword movement. Just like what I did to him before. So you do remember this move? Out of surprise, I pause. Only for a second. But my opponent definitely doesn't miss that chance. As he locks our blades together, his hand grasps the handle of my sword and twists it. Exactly like what I had done to him before. I slightly lose my grip on the handle, and my sword falls to the ground. Because of the shock, I fall on my butt. For the first time, screams and cheers reverberate throughout the hall. The swordsman teacher, the referee of this match, always looks sleepy, but right now, his eyes are widening from shock. He looks at me on my butt, and then at Alfred, who is standing. Then his jaw drops, looking like it is about to fall. Eesh. Who would have thought of this result? It's a Alfred Flam's win. As I sit on the ground, I smile. What is this? There's absolutely no need for me to lose on purpose. He's already properly stronger than me. At first glance, he doesn't seem to be listening to anything I said, but he actually does. And he also learnt it properly. Alfred proved to me that everything that I did isn't pointless. I'm truly very happy. Alfred grips his sword, and puts it back in its sheath. He approaches me with a joyful smile on his face, and squats down. I win. Hearing his cheerful voice, I unconsciously return his smile. I should praise him for his efforts, right? After all, he has persistently worked hard, using his steady effort and willpower until he reached this point. Congratulations, Alfred. It's your win. Alfred gives me a wide grin. He holds my wrist and pulls me up. The impact of the fall still remains, and I stagger. When I think that I'm going to fall down again, Alfred extends his arms and catches me. He hugs me with all his might. Oi, why you are really. I'm happy. Finally, I have won against you, my first win. Seems like he's very happy. His voice is strangely cheerful and bright. Good grief. But I'll let it slide for today. His grip around me is too strong and painful, but I just leave it as is. Congratulations, Alfred. Thank you. And then he laughed. Hearing Alfred's weirdly high-pitched voice and laugh, I can't help but laugh along with him. I pat his back, which is now wider than mine. I know that he goes to practice with the village swordsman teacher every time he loses. Marie also secretly told me about it while laughing fondly. He pretends that it's nothing to him, but I know that he's frustrated with his continuous losses to Lian Sama, or so she said. Alfred himself has been working hard to become the current Alfred. To win against me. You worked hard. Aha. Alfred's reply sounds childlike. It seems like he is truly very happy. Upon seeing him rejoice like a child, my smile stuck on my face, and I laugh again. The applause doesn't stop, together with the cheers, shrieks, and jeers. Shrieks and jeers. NHADCH 17.3. After washing off the sweat and dust in the showering area with the other participating students, I throw some clothes on in the changing room. Upon glancing at the town's clock tower, Alfred bolts the moment the award ceremony ends. Looks like he's heading to his part-time job. He doesn't even plan on staying for a little longer. I mean, since the match is supposed to last the whole day, he should have just asked for a day off. What was he thinking? That brat's certainly unmotivated. How could he have actually thought of throwing the match just to leave early? Seriously. And ever since the match ended, that trio of groupies looks like someone told them Santa Claus doesn't exist, tears and snot running down the faces. The atmosphere's kind of depressing here. What's up with them? On the other hand, I'm feeling great and refreshed, as if a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Boo-hoo, Lian Sama, this is too heartrending. That guy must have cheated. You're right. He must have done something, right? I shake my head. Alfred didn't do anything, okay. This is something that can happen to anyone. Don't worry about every problem too much. But thank you for caring about me, I tell them as I bow in gratitude. Lian Sama, your words are truly mature. How mature? We don't deserve to have you say this while bowing to us. As expected of Lian Sama, you're truly wonderful. Well, to be fair, I'm actually an adult. Mentally, at least. Still, I feel like I've been forgetting myself these days. Even so, it's bewildering how that Alfred guy was hugging Lian Sama. I'm Jalo, I mean, he's too rude. That's right. How shameless. Right. Why you're right. I forced a stiff smile. That idiot, what was he thinking, hugging me where everyone can see? Since he kept clinging to me, everyone stared at us weirdly. I felt so embarrassed that I had half a mind on running away. I don't like standing out. He still did it anyway. When I see him again on Saturday, I'll scold him properly. He won't hug me in public ever again. Lian Owen. Yes. I say, stopping in my tracks. As the trio and I look over our shoulders at the same time, I catch sight of two men wearing long, blue cloaks. They're staring at me, smiling. Upon closer inspection, they're in uniform, also a shade of blue. Attached by each of their waists is a long, bejeweled sword. The members of the Royal Knights Order. I recognize the faces. Previously, they sat in the VIP booth during the event. One of the men stands tall, his skin a shade of chocolate and his body rippling with muscles. His hair is slicked back with wax. Although he's smiling, his eyes give him an sharp look. The other man is fair-skinned, his wavy silver bangs falling right above his eyes. Coupled with his drooping eyes, he looks like quite the Casanova. It's impressive. Both of them are well-dressed, not a thread out of place. They look like a pair of spectacular royal knights, envied by everyone. Both boys and girls are watching them with sparkling eyes while making a ruckus. It's like when ordinary people catch sight of entertainers. In the VIP seats are the other knights. Some have scars marring their strong-looking faces. There is even a bald knight with bulging muscles. However, no one is paying them any attention. How pitiful. Guys, please give them a little love. Act like they exist. They're probably the ones working the hardest. Because of their handsome faces, the first pair of knights clearly stand out among the rest of the colleagues. They're aware of everyone fawning over them and make a clear distinction between them and the colleagues. I'm hesitant on how to define the feelings they inspire from me, nor do I know what to make of my first impression. Seeing how haughty they act around the students, my impression of them worsens. Since they've yet to say anything, even after all this time, I'm a bit impatient. What is it? The dark-skinned man with the slicked back hair smiles. I apologize for the abrupt call. I must have surprised you. I'm Viper Serpentine, the captain of the Royal Knights. And this is the vice captain. Solateta. Nice to meet you. His droopy eyes droop even further as he swipes his bangs to the side, flashing me a brilliant smile as well. After watching Leon's impeccable match, we immediately thought of calling you out. Is this a scout? Scout. Seriously. The trio are as loud as always. Turning to the trio, the captain and vice captain of the Royal Knights nod. You can think of it like that. I've been planning on finding a new recruit for one of my squads. Of course, they must be up to my standards for me to recruit. Leanne, you are very good. Right, Sola. Yeah, if you allow me to say my personal opinion, you are the best I have seen so far. Right. That's why, Leanne, won't you discuss with us for a while? I shake my head. Why me? I'm sorry. I believe the winner is Alfred Flam, isn't it? The smile on the black-haired knight deepened. Yes, that's true. But he is indebted to the church, right? The moment I hear that, I immediately understand the implications. And my heart feels heavy. This guy is saying that because Alfred is an orphan with no money or backing, he is not worth scouting. And in that respect, I am the son of the Lord. I have both the skills and the status, a perfect resume. I'm annoyed, but I manage to fake a smile for them. I see. But, I have no intention of becoming a knight in the capital. If I'm still alive in 2 years, I plan to spend my days in leisure in one of the Owen family villas. Help my brother manage the village now and again. That's if I don't return to my original world. I also want to help out Marie's orphanage. Once I settle down, I want to travel occasionally. Slowly explore this favorite world of mine with my own 2 feet and my own eyes. In spite of my rejection, the black-haired knight's smile doesn't falter. I've already told Lord Owen that I will talk to you today, so you don't have to worry about anything. You just need to follow us, and listen to what we have to say. Ugh. So this is the arrangement of Leon's father, huh? Perhaps Leon's father bribed them. Yeah, he definitely did. Isn't using bribes to get a promotion outdated? It's like that old historical play my grandpa used to watch where the magistrate seals a case after receiving a nice chunk of cash. I feel like bashing my head against the wall. Leanne Sama, you're so amazing. So cool. Wow, Leanne Sama, you're actually going to be a knight in the capital. Wonderful. Capital, Leanne Sama will live in the city. Wow, how fantastic. Please let us hear the details later, alright. The trio's looking at me with sparkling eyes. Yeah, I have already made a reservation at the Martina Lafanato Hotel. Let's talk over dinner. A carriage is already waiting outside. Come on. I have no way to escape. The Martina Lafanato Hotel is one of the finest hotels in this area. It only accepts those of the upper crust of society as patrons. Formal attire is also required for entry. The building flaunts elegant and exquisite architecture, akin to that of an art museum. The staff are extremely hospitable, elegant, and polite. At least that's what the guidebook says. Even some celebrities from the capital frequent this hotel, according to gossip from the trio and my classmates. A lot of money is moving below the surface. I'm curious as to how much Leon's father has spent on this, but I'm also afraid to find out. I sigh. This is no longer something I can turn down in the school hallway. I have to have a personal talk with them myself. Thankfully, Leon's father won't be around, or else it'll be even more troublesome. That will be my chance to refuse. I understand. Hearing my acknowledgement, both of them smile. Haha, I really like you. You're a smart and good kid. Then, let's go. Escorted by the two knights, I head to the luxurious carriage parked in front of the school gate.